Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi. Thank you. I obviously need a flower crown. That's ridiculous. Um,
I can't find mine. I was looking around thinking, I should have mine.
You are pink to the vortex. You have to wear a flower crown to talk to me. It's a rule.
Shut the door, Joe. Come on.
The door, Joe. Okay. Awesome. All right. So I'll stop that then.
Yes, you are.
How are you today?
I'm doing quite well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Hi. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Uncustomary Love. And I'm so excited to have a very exciting guest. I have been kind of geeking out all morning, if I'm being honest with you. And I have Brad Yates here on my podcast. Hi, Brad.
Hi, Mary. So great to see you again.
Thank you. We'll get into exactly how we first truly met, but Brad, if you don't know, is an author, speaker, EFT tapping wizard, and he's also trained as a hypnotherapist. And if you don't know this, it's important for you to know, because he was at clown college with the Ringling Brothers. Like, seriously, fully rounded human being. I mean, you might not see it from like all the collars and the framed photos. It seems like maybe not the most clown, but you've got it. You've got the clown energy.
I try.
You've got it. It's important. So let's talk about the tapping. This is so important. It's like one of the biggest tools that I have used over years to like really release so many limiting blocks. And I was skeptical of it at first. Were you skeptical of it, like when you found out about it?
Well, not as skeptical as some people, because again, remember when I learned about EFT and tapping, I'd already been to clown college. So, it wasn't the weirdest thing I'd ever seen.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and I learned about it after having studied hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And the power of the mind. And so I was already involved in healing modalities. So, but I totally understand where most folks are who have not had the exposure to certain things, where someone comes along and says, hey, tap on your face. It's really great. You go,
yeah.
I
mean, I honestly was like full on in self-love care realm of everything. Like I was meditating, I was doing like all the other kinds of things that, can be, it's kind of lumped in with this, in terms of coping skills and things, and working through limiting beliefs in other ways, and had no problem being like, that'll totally work. But I was like, not that one though. That one seems weird. And I think, to be honest, it was the way that it was introduced to me in a lot of ways. I think people can be a little drastic with the way that they might introduce it, saying things happen like immediately. And I think for me, that might be dangerous thinking, just because I don't ever want someone to like hope that something so important can change overnight. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. And that's one of the challenging things with EFT, because it can create huge shifts very quickly in rare occasions. And in fact, when Dr. Roger Callahan first sort of discovered how to use tapping, he was working with a woman with a lifelong water phobia that went away in a matter of moments.
Yeah.
So when people hear that, they think, oh, okay, either tapping's too stupid, I don't want to do it, or I'm going to do it and it's going to instantly solve all
Fix
of my
everything.
issues.
Yeah.
And yes, it can be very profound, and I have seen things go away very fast, but for the most part, things take longer. And then so people will then say, oh, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like saying, okay, if you do 3 sit-ups and don't have rock hard abs, and go, oh, sit-ups don't work.
Exactly.
Or you take a multivitamin and go, I don't feel like I could stop a moving train with my bare hands. Obviously, that vitamin didn't give me any energy.
Those Spider-Man vitamins just are not kicking in.
They're not.
I have this story of this girl that I babysat when I was 12. She was like 7 or 8, and we were taking a walk, and we were coming up this hill on the way back to my house, and we had been out for a little bit, and she was getting tired, and we're coming up the hill, and she's like, oh, I just don't want to do it anymore. And I just looked back at her, and I said something that I had just heard my dad say, which was, it's good for you, it's exercise. And she pulled up her dress, and she looked at her tummy, and she just said, well, it's not working. And I've always remembered that when people say things aren't going fast enough, because tapping, like anything, it's a process, you know? Any personal development or practice is a practice. So it can be that fast, right? But it doesn't mean that it's going to be.
And we never know what, you know, and people ask me all the time, so how many sessions is it going to take? How long will I have to tap? Well, one, it depends on what your destination is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how long will you need to tap until what?
Right.
And two, I don't know, because I don't know what's going on for you. I don't know, you know, it's like, how long will I have to tap before I'm happy? Okay, one, hard to quantify. Two, did you have a happy childhood or did you have a traumatic childhood?
Right. And how ready are you?
Exactly. And the readiness is all, as Hamlet said.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and to me, you know, there's the saying, ready, willing, and able. And to me, it's ready, willing, and able. Ready, we're ready when we're both willing and able.
Oh.
And there's a part of us that may not be willing. You know, we may not be willing to heal because, especially after a certain amount of time, it's part of our identity. It's part of our coping mechanism. And so could create a huge shift. And part of it says, yeah, I'm not going to let it, because I'm not ready yet to let that particular issue go. And it doesn't mean it's not working, because with the tapping, we're peeling the layers of the onion, we're shaving that stuff away. But you know, I always talk about the Michelangelo principle, and so I have Davids all over my office. And
for those of you just listening, he's holding up a statue.
It's Michelangelo's David. And Michelangelo said the statue's already there, perfect inside the marble. I just have to chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece inside.
Yes.
And it might take, you know, the David took Michelangelo 4 years. It takes some time to chip this stuff away, especially if, you know, depending on how much guilt and shame and sadness and fear and anger might be there, and the reasons behind it. And sometimes we hit that chisel in such a way that huge blocks of marble fall away.
Yeah. And sometimes we're not even ready for that. You know, like sometimes we are ready and that's what happens, but we're not expecting how much marble will fall.
Yep.
You know?
And there's part of us that's scared of that.
Yes.
When we talk about possibilities, it's like, you know, it's like for people who of a Christian background, when, you know, Jesus says, these things I do, you shall do, and greater still. And it's like, oh, that means I could walk on water. It's like, if you tried walking on water and your foot actually was solid, it would freak the heck out of you. It's like, as we step on it, it's like, please don't let me be able to walk on the water.
Yeah.
Please don't let me perform miracles, because that would, my mind would explode. And so I'll take it in baby steps.
Yeah. Gosh, I love the whole idea of being like, because willing and able are very two different things, and we combine them all the time, really. And able really just means, are you capable truly? Yeah. And willing is like, no, I'm like truly here and actually going to do it.
Yeah.
And we do cling on to things that feel comfortable, even if they are traumatic. And the idea of like removing the space in us that's been filled by this pain, trauma, guilt, whatever, is horrifying almost, because it's like, what's going to fill it up?
Right.
You know, maybe the new thing might be worse, and at least this I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even when our lives are crap, it's our crap.
This is my crap.
We know where it goes.
I know it.
Yeah. I have furniture that it fits into. And,
it goes right in that cubby. It fits real good.
I dealt with it
It smells
yesterday, so
horrible.
I know that I can deal with it because I dealt with it yesterday. I didn't enjoy
Exactly.
dealing with it, but I did.
Mm.
Something new I might not be able to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I tell myself it's wonderful, it looks great on the vision board, but it's an unknown quantity. The crap I have is a known quantity. It's the to be or not to be speech in Hamlet, the Declaration of Independence. There are all kinds of great works of writing that talk about, the devil is easier to handle than that's out there. And that's where that's why tapping is such a profound tool, because when we look at the unknown, we have a stress response, that fear of I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up, we may not be consciously aware of it, but part of us is shutting down and stops ourselves from going up and talking to that attractive stranger, from making that phone call, from reading that book that could give us the education where we could get that better job. Whatever it is, we're brilliantly stopping ourselves because we have a stress response that says, yeah, that wouldn't be safe, that wouldn't be familiar, and so let's not do that. And then the tapping is just a profound tool for mitigating that stress response and lowering it to a point where we can say, oh, you know what? Maybe I could handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can do this. And find out I do have the ability. Now I'm having more of the willingness.
Yeah, I love that. And for anybody listening, I don't know if I've ever actually shared my initial start with tapping, because I mentioned that I was very skeptical with it. And when I wanted to, I just got this, like, people call them downloads or whatever, just like this, like, hit of, I should try it. And it was like 6 years after hearing about it for the first time. It was just a random Tuesday in July. And like, truly, I remember that. And I was in a bar, and I had started taking a medication that was making me very, very hungry in a way that I knew my body wasn't hungry. It was just making me hungry.
Right.
And I knew that I didn't want to try tapping with something that was subjective, something that is like happiness, when you get an email, like, how can I be happy? Like, that's very blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to do something that I felt like, am I hungry or not? Like, I can kind of feel that more in my body and be
right.
more embodied with that. So I tapped on it that night, and I found one of your videos, and I tapped with it. And the next morning, like, I was eating like 2 meals for every meal. Like, that's how hungry I was. And I ate a breakfast and was full and didn't eat another breakfast. And I only needed like a normal 3 meals that day. And it lasted like the whole week. And I was like, and people were like, well, is this the placebo effect? And I was like, I hate the placebo. I'm like, who cares if it's the placebo effect, if it's working?
If it's working, yeah, exactly.
So speaking of,
I'm getting the effect that I want, but I'm not sure that it's the tapping that's getting it. So I should just stop the tapping and stop getting the effect until I can prove that it's like, who cares?
Yeah, if anything, if you're getting the results that you want, make it work for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just about, maybe it's not the physical act. Maybe you don't believe that that's the thing, but maybe you're just drawing your attention to the thing and talking it out. Maybe that's what's helping you, and that's great. So speaking of making tapping work for you, one of the things that I find really helpful when I tap along with your videos, and if you have not checked out Brad's YouTube, it is just like a treasure trove of just, like, you can't find a keyword that doesn't exist on your YouTube. Like, I've tried, and I'm gonna try to find one, and I'm gonna like challenge you. But it's really, really amazing what you have created, Brad. And I am just so grateful, and I know so many other people are too, for the astounding amount of resources that you have made for the collective in order to help us progress. And it's fantastic. So, like, I was able to just type in, the thing that I was working on, and you were there to help me, even though you'd already done it. You know what I mean? And that's really great. So thank you.
My pleasure.
But my cats really want to meet you, apparently, by the way. But I love tapping along to your videos, and because you do make them for so many people, you have to kind of, think about it in a more general way, right? Like, because there's everyone out there. And I find that if you are talking about like a certain issue, that I will kind of insert my own issue to kind of when you're repeating back the phrase or the affirmation to make it more specific to me. How do you feel about that?
No, that's absolutely wrong, because I am so gifted that everything I say is the perfect wording for all 7 billion plus people on the planet.
So.
How dare you change it?
I thought so.
No, Mary, it's perfect. I encourage people to do that all the time. I put them out there so that people don't have to worry about coming up with the words, because that throws some people. Some people are like, I don't know what to say.
I don't have here, let me. I'm already low. Like, what do I do?
Let me get the ball rolling. And I always encourage folks, if another word is coming up to you, if there's a way for you to personalize it more, by all means.
Yeah.
By all means. These are here so that you don't have to worry about that, and don't let the lack of words stop you from using tapping.
I love it. I love it. And there's so many ways to make tapping more personal to you in so many ways. Like, I mean, sometimes I will take all my clothes off or do it in the mirror. And I know like you tap with one hand, and some people want to tap with both hands, and some people might not be able to reach certain spots, and that's okay. Like, there's so many different ways. And I think it's important to also acknowledge like people with different abilities or disabilities. And, you know, if you can't reach or can't do something, that any tapping is better than no tapping, right?
And it's a very forgiving process. Absolutely. Yes. On my own, I often tap both sides because it's in the video and I'm a trained actor. Tapping,
trained clown
tapping in front
actor.
of your face is bad camera technique. So that's why
I guess all my videos suck then. I was just covering my whole face the whole time. I'll just do it with my palms instead. Just to get more face out of there.
There's and people ask me all the time, you know, should I switch back and forth? Should I do both hands? And like, you know, different strokes for different folks. Experiment, find out what works for you. If I'm not an English speaker, should I do it in my own language? Absolutely, give that a try. For some people, they'll be more emotionally engaged if they translate into their native tongue. You know, experiment and find out what's right for you. I would never say there's one right way that has to be done for everyone. So there's all kinds of opportunities for that. So I encourage people to experiment and find what feels most right for them.
Thanks for that. I love that. And one of the most recent videos that I checked out on your YouTube was this really cool video that my partner was like, where are all the frames? Why is it a white background? What's going on? What did Brad do? Where is he? Is he in a cloud? And I was like, I don't know where the frames are, but this is different. And you were talking about big, hairy, audacious goals, the BHAD, which I love that acronym. And you were empowering people in this video to look at their big goals, but also you did something that you don't usually do, which was get a little more personal and share one of your goals. Do you want to tell us what that is?
Well, the goal that I stated was to reach 1 million subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which is pretty audacious.
Audacious. Where were you at when you filmed that?
I set up a studio for
the cloud background.
For certain programs, I have a more sophisticated setup with a studio setup. When I'm doing YouTube videos, I'm here in my office and it's like, oh, just turn on the camera. It's like, oh, I've got an idea. I'm going to shoot a video, and I don't do the whole setup. But I was shooting something else and decided, oh, I think I'm going to shoot this video just while I'm here, while I've got all this set up.
Yeah,
I'm going to shoot this video as well. And yeah, I'm so blessed to get to do what I do.
Oh, I didn't mean where you were physically at. I meant like where you at subscribers. I was like, why are you talking about the studio so much? What number, Brad?
Well, you had the lead in about where are the frames and all that.
I mean, I clearly care about the cloud, but like, no, where were you at subscriber wise to get before the 1 million? Oh my God.
Even though I feel stupid.
Even though, Brad, you are not.
I wasn't sure.
Even though I am not bad, dumb, or stupid.
Not bad or stupid. I thought that might be what you were talking about, but because you had done the lead-in about where were the frames and all that, it's like
to just jump around.
I'm gonna cover both bases. I'm gonna, just in case, I'm gonna answer the question.
You were in the cloud in the studio, and where were your numbers?
I'd like to answer this question in two ways.
In a form
First,
of a
in my own voice, and then in a very high-pitched voice.
Thank you. I would like this next response to be in a very high-pitched voice, please.
Yes. Monty Python fans will get that one.
I'm going to do a silly walk in the background. You're going to have to watch the video for that one.
Exactly. So, I don't know where I was.
Cool.
I might as well do it in a high-pitched voice because I don't have a really good answer. I can't remember what but it had to do with something I had just been reading some comments from people who were just saying, hey, this has made such a difference. Yeah. And I was just like, I really want to reach more people.
Yeah.
And I don't usually ask people, hey, if you can promote this.
Yeah. You never
I have little things that say,
there's
subscribe and share.
Stuff, but you never really come and say, please subscribe, like this video, down in the comments, blah, blah, blah. And there's no like explosion of like memes and stuff. Like it's. I have about a dozen videos where I have a little tag video at the end where I do that. Hey, if you like this video, share it, subscribe, do this. And I'm pointing to the different buttons. You're probably like very silly with that. And it's probably like people are like, oh my gosh, Brad.
Well, the thing is, I was very, very animated. And so people complained because like, wow, isn't this really zen place at the end of the tapping video? And then suddenly like, hey.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
So I stopped using that as a negative.
It's like getting an ad in the middle of your meditation video.
Yeah. which happened briefly. YouTube did this thing where they just converted everything, where every video over 8 minutes, they put mid-roll ads in.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And I missed the announcements about this. They supposedly sent out an announcement saying you can opt out of this, and I never saw them. And so suddenly I'm getting all these comments from people saying, dude, why are you putting ads in the middle of your video? It's like, I didn't. I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that. And
especially in the middle of because I have a few, about a half dozen guided imagery videos.
Yeah.
And, right in the middle. Go into that gentle place.
Hey, here we are with get your denim backpacks now here. Like, I don't know why it needs to be denim backpacks, but that was what came to me. I want you to wear like a little mini denim backpack, Brad. That'll be your reward. I'll send you a mini denim backpack when you hit 1 million.
Awesome. So now I'm going to go for it.
Now you have to do it. You need a mini denim backpack. So this
it's just a desire. It's a desire to serve as many people as possible. I mean, I would love it to be all 7 billion people on the planet are tapping. Sure.
It helps everyone help themselves, which helps other people.
And the more people clear what doesn't feel like peace, the more peaceful we are, the more good we do in the world. Imagine everyone in the world not having the anger that causes them to hurt people.
Imagine everyone just in the United States if they had tapped every day for the past 4 years.
We just clear out that peace, and we just want, we want to create a world that works for everyone, and we're not in a place of, and people are doing the best they can.
Of course.
And so when we look at people who are angry and harmful and are, hurting people physically or emotionally, it really sucks to be them.
Yeah.
And so if I can help people relieve that pain, so that they can find their true loving self and want to let go of that stuff that causes that behavior, then of course I want to reach as many people as possible. Not just, it's like, here, I want you to tap so you stop doing bad things. Like, I want you to feel the joy that you deserve to feel.
Yeah.
If you're out there doing this harmful behavior, you're obviously missing out on life. If you're hating people, you're not fully loving yourself. And I want everyone to feel that. And then they share their gifts and talents, because everybody has gifts and talents to share with the world to make the world a better place. Just the main reason I make the videos is so that people have that, feel more freedom to step up and do the good that they can do.
Yeah. And I think that that's where a lot of people in this world of self-love or personal evolution or development or whatever you want to call it are coming from, where you work with tapping and hypnotherapy, and I'm coming from a different, modality, but we're essentially having the same desire of outcome, which is to help people love themselves, and that will help them to really blossom and actualize, which really becomes a door opening for service to the world, because those gifts and talents really animate into service.
Absolutely.
And you can't be of service. You can't be happy, let alone be of service, if you are in like a state of self-loathing or pain or trauma or scarcity.
Certainly makes it difficult.
I mean, yeah, if you're worried like where your next meal is coming from, how are you going to like go out and do some, it's just the basic hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
So it's just also wrapped up and important. And yeah, I think this goal is really, I don't think it's self-serving in any way. I think that this goal is truly about helping more people help themselves to help more people. And when we do this, it helps the world truly go round with more joy.
It's a little self-serving, because I have my plaque back there from YouTube for getting 100,000 subscribers, and I get a new plaque when I hit 1 million subscribers. So I really want that plaque.
That's fair.
That's all it's about.
That's really all it's about.
It's a nicer plaque.
It's a better one.
They keep getting the plaques keep getting nicer. So,
but it's still gonna go like farther away from the clown college like diploma, right?
Exactly.
Did you get like a golden clown nose? Was that part of it? Like, because I would do that if I was giving out diplomas. I would give like a golden nose for the highest.
No, that would have been really cool.
I don't know that it would fit on your face, because if it was made out of gold, it would just kind of fall. But it could be like a statue and then it's just a ball. I don't know. I haven't really thought it through.
Well, here's the thing, Mary. When I was at clown college, I actually didn't have a red nose. I was a white-faced clown. I was bald, with all white, and a pointy, upturned white nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was I know there's different kinds of names of clowns. What kind of clown were you?
It's called a white face.
It's just a white face.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. What kind of clown would I be?
I don't know. It's something that gets revealed. And we have different aspects. I actually did develop a goofier red nose clown that comes out for different aspects of myself. So
it's like kind of like shadow work almost.
Well, clown it's a permission to allow a part of yourself to be more uninhibited.
Yeah.
And just taking an aspect of yourself and being more extreme with it.
Yeah. I'm a quadruple Gemini, so I have a lot of different personalities that like to come out to play.
I'm Gemini on the cusp of Taurus, so
yeah.
all kinds of different things going on
there. So this goal, when people heard of this, and it was pretty close to the end of the year that you made this video in terms of you were like, hey guys, happy Halloween. I'm at like 150,000 subscribers, and I just like really want to get to 1 million in like 2 months.
Yeah. Took me a decade to get to 100,000. Yeah. Now I want to get 850,000 in the next 2 months.
But who says you can't? Like, no one says you can't. And you're just sincerely speaking about this. And then you're like, yeah, does that sound hard? Kind of a little bit. Let's tap on it. And then also empowering other people to do that. And this is a quantum leap, so to speak, right? Like this would be when in fruition at December 31st, looking at 1 million followers on your YouTube and getting that plaque in the mail and your denim backpack on your back, that you have have truly achieved something that we have decided needs to take a long time, right?
Yeah.
You know, 100,000 subscribers needs to take a long time. 1,000,000 subscribers needs to take 10 times. I don't know how to do math. And, you know, but what have we seen this year, at least with the pandemic? You know, we were looking at like a 6-month time frame from March to September, and people were like, wow, half a year. Okay, a lot of stuff's gone down. And if this can happen, maybe anything could happen. I mean, have you seen like some really crazy stuff go down with your friends and family and people online of just like making huge shifts in a small amount of time?
There's all kinds of things, because my wife hates this word. It's unprecedented times that we're living in.
Yes. Yes.
Because everybody uses that word now.
Yeah.
And and it does it. So again, with the idea of, even if my life is crap, it's my crap.
Mm-hmm.
We get stuck in the familiar, and we've all been shaken from familiar, because how things are right now is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And so our ideas of how things have to be has been expanded.
Yes.
For many people, it's also contracted.
Right.
But there's, the idea of a status quo has been shaken up. So for a lot of people, it's like, oh, there are more. And then also just allowing ourselves to say, it's okay to set a big, hairy, audacious goal and not be worried about it. I don't sit there and look and go, oh man, the numbers aren't going up fast enough. I'm never going to make it to 1 million by January 31st. If I have 5 more subscribers by January 1st than I did when I shot the video, that's still 5 more people I'm being of service to. And I don't feel a need. And this is what happens with any kind of goal, mm-hmm. much less big, hairy, audacious goals, is that we have this belief of, if I set this goal, then I'll have to feel bad if I don't reach it.
Right.
And it's like, why?
Right.
Because when I set this goal, it puts things into action.
Yes.
Like making that video and putting it out there.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't get me close to that goal, it has excited people. I've gotten so many comments from people saying, thank you so much for saying that. This has really inspired me. I'm excited to support you in this. And it's kicked me in the butt to look at things.
And it excites you more too, to show up.
Yeah.
It's
a win-win situation. Yeah. Regardless of whether if I hit that
like number goal or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I was just going to say that, and you said it better. Like, I love it. And it's so true, because, like looking at something with like a money, for example, if we were trying to sell something online and you say, okay, well, I really want to sell 10 of these things, and that would be the dream, right? And then you sell 8 and it's like, oh, I failed. And it's like, did you? Like, or did you sell 8 new things?
Yeah. One of the things that I've for some time is just sort of an inner, I don't know, mantra, but it's just a sort of a guideline for me, is I show up and I do the work, and I God. I put it out there, and like I create a workshop or a program, and it's like I may say I want 1 million people or 10 people, depending on whatever it is. But the actual number, how many people show up at the workshop, that's up to the universe.
Yeah.
I don't get to decide that. And I'm not going to get upset about it. It's like, hey, it would have been nice if, but sometimes it's more than I expect, sometimes less than I expect. And it's like, okay, that's not my control over that. I have control over what I put out and the content and making the request.
Yes.
So I can make the request. I can say, hey, here I am. I'm going to do a tapping round on goals, and I'm going to tell you my goal and what the numbers actually are, because I cannot, even if I were to go around and find 1 million people and say, sit down with me right now and subscribe, mm-hmm. they could still not do it.
Exactly.
So I can't force anyone to do it. So it's like, all right, that's not up to me. And I'm going to be cool, and I'm going to leave that. I'm going to trust God on that. And I'm just going to keep putting it out there.
Absolutely. I heard someone recently in a podcast, I think it was Jessica on Simply Be, who said that you can put out your goals into the universe and as manifestations, and you could, work really, really hard with your part of it and the action doing part, but you don't get to decide the deadline. The deadline is what the universe decides. Like what you're saying with the million, like it's about the vibe, the energy, and the intent of what you're trying to do. It's not really about the million. And I love that.
Yeah. God's delays are not God's denials.
No, I love that.
And it takes however long it takes. And
all you can do is show up and keep going. But sometimes things do manifest very quickly with these quantum leaps.
They do.
And this action and belief and power and knowing that we're in the right place, like at Vortex Fest, when I was so psyched to see you in person in your pink shirt. And I was coming back from lunch and I was just like vibing so high because it was so impossible not to be in that room. And I was coming back and I had the rest of my sandwich in my bag, and I was like, I need to just like get back in that place. I need to somehow like run into Brad Yates in the elevator. And I said it out loud, and I said it 3 times as I was walking back in my sequin dress. And I opened the door and you walked out of the elevator alone. And I was like, I have him alone. And I was like, that's a creepy thought, keep going. And and I got like to meet you, and you were like, hi, Uncustomary, like you knew my name.
I said, hey, Mary.
I was like, ah! It was so good. Like I was losing my mind. Like I got back from that trip and I told people like so many things that had happened that were amazing, but I was like, so I met Brad Yates, and people were like, I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. And I would like show you, and they were like, oh, this is cool. And then I would like casually throw in that I met Russell Brand, and they would be like, I'm sorry, Brad Yates, Russell Brand. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, that was my hierarchy of joy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a little boost for your today. That was real. People were kind of tired of hearing about you when I got back from LA. People were like, okay, Mary, we're gonna watch the video. Please stop. But like I felt like a manifesting queen in that moment, because I was like so specific about the elevator, and then you kind of popped out like a little Jack in the Box Brad in the Box. That's a better name. And I think that you can do that with anything, you and the collective you. We can, if we're again ready, willing, and able. And if we're
it's clearing our limitations, recognizing there's a part of us that says, I may not be able to handle it.
Yeah.
There have been times where I wanted to meet certain people and I wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at, okay, these opportunities aren't showing up, and rather than beating ourselves up and it's like, oh, I'm so stupid, I blew that, or I this or that, and going, okay, what part of me might be resisting that?
Exactly.
If anything's possible,
for all of that.
If anything is possible, what part of me might be resisting having this miraculous experience, and just keep clearing it and not worrying about, I've got to work harder. It's like, no, allow yourself to be at peace and allow yourself to be in vibrational harmony. So you were in a very good vibe. If you had been in a place of, God, if I come to this Vortex Fest and I really would like to meet Brad, and if I don't meet Brad, I'm going to be so disappointed. Yeah. Wouldn't have happened. And you would have manifested the disappointment that you were vibing with.
Yep, absolutely. But if we are having that resistance, I think tapping is just such a great tool to bring it back to this, that we can use, and utilizing your tools that already exist for free on your YouTube is amazing. And then also, if you ever have the opportunity to work with Brad, online, in person, if this ever
someday, please,
someday in the world. And but like tomorrow I get to tap with you live in the Vortex, and that's right. Really cool with Gala Darling. And I loved what you said in your Big Hairy Audacious goal video of the thought of like, hey, if you're thinking that my goal that's like in no way related to your life is too big for me, then maybe, oh, I'm getting goosebumps, then maybe your big, hairy, audacious goal is too big for you.
Right.
And there's resistance there.
I'm talking myself out of my goal by ridiculing your goal.
Yeah, because if you are like, there's no way you can do that, it's not even, it doesn't affect you in any way, then how are you limiting yourself on a daily basis? Yeah. Is there any?
Not because we're bad or stupid. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's a brilliant way to cope and stay safe.
Yeah, brilliant way to stay safely in your comfort zone, but knock it off.
Is there a specific video that you would recommend to work through that? Just a comfort zone video, or?
Oh,
I don't know why you don't have them at the ready in your head. There's only like 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus a few more.
Just like a couple thousand. I don't know how many there are.
Not quite yet. I'm getting close to 1,000.
Well, that should get you another plaque.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, and I actually, someone posted the I think they actually posted this video. I don't know if it was you, maybe you or someone else just posted on Instagram the other day, the big hairy goal one. And I reposted that with a link to my video on playing big or bigger.
Okay.
So,
good. Yeah, and there's so many things that with the way keywords work on YouTube, it will create like a bunch of options. So like even when I will type in something, if sometimes what I type in isn't the one that I end up doing, if that makes sense. Like I'll go and I'll type in emotional discomfort. I don't know what that's, you know, and then if something comes up and it's like, actually it's like Google's like, did you mean? And then it's like, actually, this is really the block you're working through, babe. And I'm like, oh yeah, all right, yeah. And you know,
the universe. Yeah.
It's sometimes
when you put in the keywords, you know, with over 900 videos, there's probably a tap for that.
Yeah, something very close.
Yeah.
So,
and we can personalize it, as you said, with the words. Yes. And even if you don't change the words, you can allow yourself to think about, okay, here's what's bothering me. Scale is 0 to 10. Oh, it's a 7. I feel it here. And you could be tapping along with virtually any of my videos or anyone else. I have a lot of great colleagues out there with videos. You could be tapping along with a video that's on something completely different, and still get benefit from it.
Yeah, I think that's important too, to like be clear about the thing that you are feeling in that moment, like before, like that's what I do with tapping along with a video, to kind of zen a little bit in the beginning and think about what it is that you are wanting to work on through or feel. And if you aren't wanting to, even if you are wanting to add that in verbally or not, just to have that kind of floating, because sometimes maybe you don't want to say it out loud. Maybe there's someone there. Maybe if you're doing a script, it might be like, I was just saying what Brad was saying. This is not about you, babe. The video said that people are jerks, not you, you know, and then you don't have to say, you know what I mean? If someone's in the house, it's a good tip. So you can just think about it. But if you can, you know, I don't know. One of my last questions for you is, why, like, I just love how you believe in empowering other people to make things happen for themselves instead of enabling them. And we've kind of talked about this already. We touched on this of just being of service to other people so that they can become happy and be of service to other people. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I don't know if there need to, but I sometimes say to audiences, I'm not here for you guys. I'm here for all of the people that you are going to touch with your work that you're not sharing yet.
Yeah. I think I was thinking about like the debt idea that you shared, where you were like, if I give someone money, then I'm telling them that they are not capable of making it on their own. Does that make sense more?
Yeah, there's a certain level of that. It's enabling people. I'm trying to think of the wording. And it's funny, my wife and I came up with a company name, Yates Empowerment Strategies,
Ooh.
which is
yes.
But I learned something from someone years ago. He said, you can't empower anybody else because people have to plug in their own light socket. And you can, so I don't empower people. I help people empower themselves because the power is already there.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to, I'm always come up with different names for what I do. And one of the job titles I gave myself is gift unwrapper.
Ooh.
I didn't come up with the gift. I didn't create the gift. I didn't make it myself. But it's wrapped up, and I help people unwrap their gifts.
I love that. It's like you're inspiring the empowerment, really.
I certainly hope so. Yeah. And that's it's hoping to spark that in folks, that they have that acknowledgement of, well, and here's the thing, people do acknowledge that. One of my favorite things when I'm tapping with folks on feelings of unworthiness is to be saying, part of me already knows that I'm worthy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be tapping on my face right now.
Right.
You know, why would you, just like Michelangelo, you wouldn't go and start chiseling away at a piece of marble that you didn't believe there was a statue inside of.
Yes. Even just listening or watching this right now, you know that there's something more you want.
Yes. Yes. You would not be listening to us right now if you didn't know inside that underneath all of your self-doubt, that's like, no, I know that's a cover-up, that's a safety mechanism based on, old programming and old fears. But if you didn't know that there was more to you, if you didn't know that you deserved more, if you didn't know that you had more to offer the world, you wouldn't even be hearing us right now.
Yeah. So good job. And thanks for sticking with us. I think we should come up with, like, you know how they do, like, instead of like clapping, they will do like snaps for someone. You should
right.
Taps for.
Exactly.
Tap for the audience. Awesome. Taps for L. Taps for L. But you can't really hear it, so you'd have to make it like taps for L. But that's very Tarzan-y. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the answer, but that's where I'm coming from. I'm giving you so many good ideas, Brad.
You are.
Denim backpacks and Tarzan taps. That's the name of the episode. So I'm going to ask you 2 more questions to end this out. I want to thank you so much for being here and making my day. I'm just going to tell you that the way that you were scheduled in my Google Calendar was had a bunch of swear words in it because I was very excited. It's a very long title and a lot of exclamation points. I think it filled the quota for Wyoming's exclamation point usage for the year of 2020. And I
need a screenshot of that.
I'll send it to you. And I just want to ask you 2 things that I ask every guest, which is, 1, what is inspiring you right now? It can be a food or a concept or a color or a list of anything that just feels really cool right now.
Wow.
A product, a puppy. A product that shows puppies.
or our new kitten.
Your new cat is so good. I want our cats to date.
I wasn't loving it because this morning he's been waking us up at 6:30. This morning at 5:30 he was outside the door whining, and it was so sweet because my wife let him in, and he jumped on the bed, and he crawled under the covers and just curled up behind my back, and just took a nap there.
Mitzi does that too.
Which is nice because normally he comes in and like scratches and bites. He is very playful, but this time he just came in and just crawled up against me and just chilled out for a while. So
your inspiration is kitten cuddles.
But right now in this moment, you are inspiring.
Brad.
So I love your energy. I'm looking at, people are hearing this, you can't see this, but as I look past your shoulder, it's always interesting how people sort their stuff, their albums, their books, whatever, by alphabetical title or author or whatever. And I'm loving that your books are sorted by color.
Yeah, I couldn't find them any other way. That's the only way I remember anything, like literally in the world. Truly, if someone tries to tell me something, they're just like, it was this, and they'll like use like 100 different descriptors, and they're like, Mary, it was teal, and I'm like, oh, why did you say it was teal? Thank you.
It's something I noticed about halfway through our conversation. It's like just look at these books and go, I think I know what that book is. I think it, and then I'm going, wait a minute, your books are.
You see it more. The white ones are at the bottom. It gets kind of boring down there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. Okay, so Kitten Cuddles. Wait, what's your cat's name again?
The people are Ziggy. Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
I'm a total Bowie fan.
Yeah.
But it's my daughter who named him. So, but all the people they're showing up each day when I read comments from folks on YouTube, and I'm doing some live Zoom calls. I was supposed to be in Australia this week doing workshops with my buddy Steve Wells, and we're
how's Australia?
doing them by Zoom, and just the people showing up, and just seeing how people are willing to step out of their comfort zone and show up in the world in a bigger way. The clients that I work with, and I'm always inspired by anyone who is saying, this is tough for me to move through this, but I'm willing to do the work and allowing myself a better life and allowing myself to do better for the world.
Absolutely. Gosh, I love that. And I've seen that so much this year.
Yeah.
Even more than ever, I think. Or maybe we're just noticing it more.
Because we have time to.
Or our lenses are opening up a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my last question is super selfish, but I want to know, the word uncustomary is my name, my brand, and my vision. And I want to know what that word means to you. What does being uncustomary mean to you?
And I love that, by the way. When you first showed up in my awareness on Instagram, and Uncustomary Love, it's like, that is so brilliant.
Thank you. I have a lot of people in my life that didn't realize that my name was in it for a very long time, and they'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like their face when they realized that it was part of my name, like Mary Uncustomary, and they'd be like, the mind blowing is very good.
It's so perfect.
It works out real well.
And it's that willingness to go beyond what is the norm.
Yeah, I love that.
And stepping out, and that it goes right back to the whole reason that I use tapping is being able to break the custom, because our customs, whatever our customary behavior is, that creates our customary circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, no, I want something that's uncustomary, something that goes beyond that, and allow myself something better.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing what that means. And I love that it always seems to find a way as it integrating into other people's world views and missions and dharmas and purposes in life. And it's fantastic. I love that answer. It's beautiful. I need to clearly go cry into a pillow because Brad Yates told me that I inspired him. So, or maybe have like some kind of photo shoot, because clearly this is my energy about it. I'm going back and forth. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Brad, this has been fantastic. Everyone who's listening, thank you so much for being here. And we don't have to do anything, but come on. Brad is fantastic. He shows up for us every single day, and let's help him get to 1 million followers. And if you can like, share, subscribe, anything and everything on I do everything actually. Yes, everything, all of his YouTube videos, go through all of them. And, really anything you can do. And it really does help and serve everyone. So please get the word out. And even if we don't get there by the ball dropping, if it does, then we will get there. And the point is to share this. And if you haven't tried tapping, this is your call. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Uncustomary Love. I love you. I'll see you next time. Yay!